All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, gathering insight, inspiration, really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else and what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Now, our very special guest and feature titan today, I'm super excited, Patrick McNally. Patrick, it is an honor, my friend, that you took the time to be on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an interesting experience. Not done a podcast like this before, so I'm loving it. Thank you. Like I said, it is an honor. I've been looking forward to spending some time with you.
Fantastic. And I really can't wait to share you as a man, as a professional, and just all your knowledge and bases out there, Patrick. I can't stress enough the excitement. And hopefully everybody's seeing this and hearing this right now. So I just want to dive right in and give everybody a little taste of Patrick. So just start with telling everybody a little bit about yourself.
My name is Patrick McNally. I'm a Colorado native, first generation born in the United States on my father's side. So, an interesting kind of a, American-made story. Only child of a single working mom, grew up all over the country. Let's see, I embrace everything that Colorado has to offer, really. Red Rocks, skiing, multiple venues, whatever I can get into, biking, climbing, whatever it is. I mean, it's what I call home. I've lived in other parts of the country, and this is what I choose to come back to every single time. I've been a real estate agent since 2007, kind of an unusual deal, I'm sure we can talk about. But when the market fell apart, everything in my world was, both personally and professionally. I used to own a mortgage company here in town.
Okay.
My partner and I did in 2007. Banks were imploding. Life was imploding. Everything that I thought made me happy, buying happiness and, things like that, just went away, and it was an interesting time. So went from being a mortgage broker when banks were imploding, flipped the script, and overnight, basically 7 overnights. In 1 week, I became a broker, and the rest is history. I've sold real estate here, both residential and some commercial, as well as Florida, Sarasota, and Siesta Key, which was interesting as well. But, again, this is where I always come back home to. What else can I tell you? I have a beautiful son. He's 20. I suppose you'd probably say handsome now. Bigger than my baby giant. He's 6'5" and 220. He's an old man, literally, but I still see him as that little boy. He's one of my biggest whys in this game of life. So that's a little bit about me. Really, it's just I am a student of the world. I think that one of the things that really drives me with this business is that it's the people. Honestly, I get to spend time with them. Be a part of their stories, which is an honor, actually, and really just work through the process of life with them. Whatever their dream or goal is, I get to be a key to it. I get to help them accomplish it. So, it's kind of me in a nutshell, man.
Yeah. No, Patrick, I love that. And that gives everybody a little taste, a little flavor of you as a man and a professional. I want to dive a little bit deeper into that because this next question really draws out to everybody out there. Again, the why you do what you do to the level you do it at. So what gets you out of bed every day, motivated, and again, to do what you do to the highest of highs, Patrick?
Wow. Wise. Why do I do what I do? Make a difference. I say I'm in the people business. The houses are a byproduct. So realistically, each person's story is important to me. I've been really blessed with some interesting, individuals over my lengthy career, and I love it. But my why is make a difference, whether it's one person, one family, one house, or even part of a community at a time. I love the idea of taking something and making it better, leaving it better than I found it. It gives me an opportunity to express my creative side. I mean, part of what my history is. I went to school to design cars, industrial design.
Yeah.
So back in the day, very artistic, very creative individual, and when I was coming through school, nobody was doing that. It wasn't all over TV and the internet like it is now. And so I thought, this is the most impractical thing I could possibly achieve. My family was all blue collar or military, and I just talked myself out of one of my dreams. And, over and over through time, my why has appeared, again and again and again. And that why has always been making a difference, an impact. I consider myself sort of a maverick. I don't follow the traditional path to anything in life. Sometimes I think it might be easier, but that's just not the nature of this beast. I look at, what can I do to make a difference? My why is really, my son, I mentioned him before,
Yeah.
he has been an inspiration. He's changed my life.
Hmm.
Literally, I never thought beyond the age of 30. And, it wasn't because I had a death wish or anything like that. I just didn't have any goals like that. I mean, it's just tunnel vision on what was the next thing to do. He really opened my eyes and taught me what love looked like.
Okay.
And, so part of my spirit and my why every day is to go out and share that love,
Hmm.
with people. Where can I find that? My book of business, it's always been about, 50-50 with investor base versus, a traditional buyer or seller.
Okay.
Started in the worst market in, our lifetime. So 2007, it's raining down. I'm looking at that same type of thing. And really being able to look at the world through other people's eyes and be compassionate, understanding, and authentic in the ability to help them through.
Hmm.
See the best, see the positive, focus on a solution. I know you asked me my why, and it really is. It's about people. The people that I love, I've been really blessed. There's some of them sitting behind me in some photos at home.
Love it.
Yeah, I've got a beautiful woman who inspires me to be my very, very best. Holds me accountable when I'm not, which is good and healthy.
Perfect.
And happy Valentine's Day to her and all the other women out there.
That's right.
It's something that it's just an innate drive within me. My best day, my worst day, and any day in between, it's my perspective that's kept me going. I was just featured in an article not too long ago, and they were asking me, about a why as well. And nothing's impossible. I mean,
Sure.
I'm building a world that I thought was going to make me happy off of things. The
Mm-hmm.
woman that I was married to, my son's mother, we just went after things. We were very good at being, focused on a task, goal oriented, I suppose. Whether it was a car, a house, a trip, or whatever it was, we would crush it. And I kept thinking that would fulfill some hole inside of me. And it wouldn't, and it didn't. Unfortunately, she just wasn't the person for me. And, that showed me, that was shown that later. But, the whys and things, making an impact in other people's lives, really trying to find my own happiness and balance in life. It is just something that when I lay my head down on the end of the day, I want to know that I've made a difference. None of us are guaranteed time.
Right.
I think when I was younger, I took time for granted. I thought I was bulletproof or invincible, that maverick mentality.
Right.
And realized, just recently, look at like Kobe Bryant's story,
Yeah.
out of the blue, and it happens all the time, unfortunately. But, out of the blue, Kobe Bryant's gone, at the peak of his life, 41 years old, I believe, incredible man, take what you think of, some things on or off the court, whatever.
Sure.
I thought he was amazing, had an incredible work ethic, and really made a difference, within his trade. And that's all I want to do too, but he was gone. And so, each day I pour it all in, I give it all I've got. Do I always get it right? Absolutely not. And I'm just a human being. But, when I leave this place, my house, every morning I walk by a chalkboard, and on there recently it's written, share your smile. Every day is a gift. And at the bottom, you live. And it's true. I mean, we don't ever know where somebody's at in their walk. I try and show them grace and compassion, and hope. And I do that by sharing part of my story as well. And that smile sometimes might be the only one that they need, or what it takes to turn their day around. Live ties back into what I was just talking about, whether it's me or you or anyone in this life. No matter what we're doing, don't get me wrong, real estate's a huge piece of my life and my why. It's fun, it's creative. I get to, change things and make them better. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's people. It's people.
And Patrick, that to me is absolutely huge representation of you as a true professional. And, one of the big reasons why I consider you a huge example for real estate professionals as a Titan is you do care so much for others, and your heart is out there for the world, for your clients and anybody who's really looking to be involved with you in your life. And that speaks for itself. Obviously, the success that you've had in your life so far and will continue to has so much to do with that. But talking about your family and really bringing that into the basis, that's such a huge why as well. So again, all of that is above yourself, which is beautiful. And again, an example for other real estate professionals out there to really look at it. It's not about the money. It's about really caring and giving and helping others. The money's the byproduct. It comes through, right?
One of the things that I like, one of my mantras, I suppose, is, just do the next right thing, and, success will follow. It really will. And success, especially, again, as I've learned through my life, is not about the dollars and cents. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to live in a trailer down by the river.
Right.
Really nice river. But, I've learned that those other things they're not going to make me happy. And whether it's work, whether it's volunteering, whether it's time with my family and friends, whatever it is, it really is. Those are my true successes, as you mentioned. I try and be the best student of the game of life I can possibly be.
Right.
I find a lot of inspiration in the simplest things. And that's good. I mean, those are the things that really get me fired up, and I take that and I share it. I can't keep what I don't give away, is at least the way I look at it.
Wow.
So, as full as I can possibly be, let me share it with you. The things that I've seen, let me share them with you, whether they're beautiful or maybe they're something that might stop you from a fall or a wall in life. If I could just help you move, navigate that thing a little bit better, than I feel like it's my responsibility, right? I mean, it's just who I've become. I think I've always had a beautiful heart, been through some challenging times.
Sure.
Upon anybody, but, realistically, each step of our journey, is part of what creates us. And it's part of my story, and so I can live in the sad, negative parts of my story, or I can just use those as inspiration realistically, and move forward and, take those days and create a beautiful life. And so that's where I'm at with my walk. So.
Okay. Yeah, but there's tons there for everybody to take away and really understand and get a piece of you and what really makes you tick. I want to go into the next portion, because really it's a crowd pleaser out for the audience who's watching or listening right now. Is everybody wants to learn and grow from the Titans and really understand what they've done to grow and scale their business. So this is one of the favorites out there for everybody. So I really want to dive into this, Patrick. So if you could look back at your career thus far and pick or choose one or two things you added to your business that took it from one level to the next, what's that look like for you?
Wow. Gosh, just one or two, huh?
Hey, wherever you want to share, whatever pearls of wisdom and nuggets, we'll take them all.
Work in progress constantly. The day that I think I know it all, I'm a dangerous person. So what have I learned? Probably you don't have to do it alone. That seems to strike a chord with me. Like I said, coming up the way I did, very poor, some other challenging things. It was just like, I was always, I felt like I had to do it myself, shoulder it on myself. I had a point to prove, right? And there's nothing wrong with proving a point, but, realistically, the most balanced and healthy man that I've ever been is the one that's sitting in front of you now, in front of our audience now. And these are the questions that everybody loves to hear. Let's make the crowd happy and please them.
Yeah.
Leverage your time and talent. Leverage the people around you. I'm certainly not the smartest man in the room. Sometimes, I can be. Sometimes I'm the funniest. Sometimes I'm none of those things. But realistically, I have a team of people around me that lift me up. They allow me to focus on what's best for me. What I do best. I'm a real estate agent, so that means honestly, I'm a coach, a counselor, a referee, all kinds of different things. I get to be a designer and all these other pieces and parts, but do I want to schedule my showings? Do I want to, get the sign put in the yard? Do I want to create my flyers? Do I want to put the contract in the MLS? Do I even want to manage the contract? No. Now, I haven't done it in my past for sure. One of the nuggets, I think, is just to leverage the time and talent. I have become so much more happy, so much more focused, and so much more successful by letting people that are around me do what they're best at.
Wow.
I'm never going to be an engineer or an architect, and thank God for all this.
Right.
But, those people are passionate about what they do. And my listing coordinator, my transaction coordinator, my photographer, my team, those people are stars, and they help me shine. And realistically, this isn't about me. This is about my people, my clients, the people that trust me. So, that's one, leverage your time and talent, surround yourself with amazing people, you will go further and you will enjoy the ride a heck of a lot more when you're working with people that you love. What else? I really brought in a niche. I wanted to be everything to everybody for a long time.
Sure.
And, that led me to being less than the best version of me in all of those environments. I was there. I was present for sure. I made it all. I shone. I had a smile on my face, but, I was split. I was fractionalized because I couldn't be, here, 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 and here, and here, and I had to just decide for me what my life goals look like and, what was most important. And certainly trying to be everything to everybody left me hollow or tired or unfulfilled in my own right. So, I looked at what was most important to me. And, of course it's, my family, my friends. I love what I do for a living, but, I could always get a new job or a new career. I could do other things. I can't find people that love me again. I won't be blessed like that.
Wow.
And I've been super blessed in this life. But what I was getting at is I brought it into a focus. I realized that I was really, really good at, foreclosures and investments and flips and things along the renovation game, taking something and, making it better than it ever been, so that was one of my pieces of a niche. And then, I've been really super blessed with some amazing people that come along and believe that I will help them get where they want to be, some that are maybe not the biggest price point or the easiest, or maybe English isn't their first language, or they're, new to America like my family was. And I don't care. I don't see any of that. I see, each person gets the opportunity to own a home. I think it's the American dream, and I want to help people realize it.
Love it.
So I narrowed my time. Instead of that everything to everybody mentality, I know how to have a healthy, balanced life. Prayer and meditation in the morning. I make time for myself. I spend time with the people I love. I box my day accordingly. I get the work done that I need to. I get to do things with, the renovation side where I get to express my creative nature. Okay. I'm an artist at heart. I am a teacher at heart. So if I can be in a situation, as frustrating as it can be sometimes with my clients, and they are, when we're flipping houses, I get to take something that reminds me a lot of myself and other people I've helped in this life that maybe, has seen better days, neglect, abuse, whatever it might be. It just, a lot of people would pass by the homes that I transform or help transform. And it's a lot like people, I think, things happen to everyone, maybe it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it's not as extreme as others, but, I know from my own walk in life what it looks like to be on the top of the mountain and then feel like you're under it realistically.
Wow.
So the creative elements that I get to work with when I'm dealing with property like that gives me the opportunity to be more focused. So, I'm not trying to sell farms and ranches yet. Just kidding. I really just focus my time. I try and stay hyper focused. And for a guy that's creative and kind of bouncing and really focused on people, focus is a challenge. But, again, it goes back to having quality people in my life that, either help me shine like the star that I am or hold me accountable when I'm not. And that's fair. I let people be honest with me. And man, I love when they're honest and they tell me that I crushed it. I love that part when they're like, Patrick, you are the man.
Yeah.
I know that it's not just me, but I love it. When I've been off, or I'm down or something's taken my focus or I'm back to that everything to everybody, they'll reel me in, kick me right in the butt. We were just going through this at an awards ceremony last week. Actually, today's Friday, this week, sorry. And it's time to thank people, and I don't get to be who I am without the people that have helped get me there. So my team, the company I am blessed to work with, the incredible families and investors that have helped, me by trusting me and letting me change their lives, man. So that's kind of where I'm at, those are the things.
Well, and to that effect, there's tons of pearls of wisdom and information that everybody can take away and really digest into it. But you're looking at, from a business standpoint, leveraging and understanding what your profession truly is and what your strengths are and how to really increase those, but then delegate, as you said. So leveraging, delegation, automation, all of those things are key to really grow at your business as a person, but also as a professional. And then really, I'm picking up these nuggets is surrounding yourself with great people. And you know, obviously your clients and your friends and family, but then your coworkers or colleagues, you know, and having that mastermind session, those ability to talk and really engage with each other. So there's so many takeaways there, Patrick, and coming from a true pro like you, I mean, these are real huge effects that everybody should just be pausing, implementing into their life. I mean, any further thoughts into that, or are we good to move on?
I guess as you were talking, one of the things is you're, just mirroring back what I was saying. And
Yeah.
I really do, value the time that we're spending together. So thank you.
Likewise.
No, it's really, truly amazing. I love this. When you were talking about, my colleagues, my coworkers, one of the things that I've found over my time, whether it was the mortgage business or, real estate, because, I've been doing that longer now, but for 23 years, let's say, I've been doing one thing or the other in the game of real estate.
Sure.
I've watched different individuals, and, I'm not in charge of their lives or how they do it,
Right.
but, this is about the people that are involved again. And I keep saying people, but it is a people business,
Right.
And we forget about people in this world, how to treat them, how to, interact with them, how to be grateful for them, considerate of them, and truly realize that, I am here as, to provide a service. That's my thing. I have a servant's heart, but, working with other people, my company's, we've got offices all over the country, but, some of my best colleagues where I get my, where I can bounce things off of, held accountable for, think outside the box, as the game of real estate's evolved, because, I'm kind of an old school guy sometimes,
Love it.
Technology and growth and, the limitless world that we live in now, I find inspiration from some of the greatest people, whether they've been in the business for 30 years, 3 years, it's really, I think when it's not about me and it's not about them,
Mm-hmm.
this isn't about my face on a shopping cart. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but my
Right.
point is, and it's certainly what everybody does is what they do. It's just this collaboration. It's a beautiful thing. I was at the Nuggets game watching the Nuggets and the Lakers the other night, and I had an opportunity to do that with a couple of gentlemen from a different company, and they are inspiring to me. They have a different set of eyes. And that collaboration, that piece of brainstorming, which is what we did, in between watching one incredible basketball game,
Awesome.
was, just continue to grow. Remember, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about us and our industry and how do we leave it better than we found it. What is our legacy going to be? I touched on Kobe Bryant earlier.
Yeah.
Legacy. Phenomenal, but legacy. What can I do? I'm never going to be dunking the ball. Certainly not now. If I could dunk it a few more times in real estate, if I could give what I've learned, if I could, transform a few more people's lives or a few more communities or, help, a newer agent, really shape their career and make a difference in this, then those are my things. So some of those pieces, that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, no, that's huge, Patrick. And again, just a wealth of knowledge. And I don't want to throw you under the bus, but I mean, this is just scratching the surface of this man's intelligence and capability in the industry and in the world of real estate, and just as a good guy. So if Patrick's all right, I mean, for people to kind of flood your inbox a little bit with questions and thoughts about real estate and just things along those lines, I know he's a busy guy, so I definitely don't want to speak for him, but.
No. I would love it. It would actually be an honor, and again, I think I can learn just as much as I can teach. And there's something beautiful about just how I'm wired. And I think that's something that I would say to anybody in our industry or even out of it, just in life in general. Figure out your whys. Make sure that what you're doing makes you happy. There's so many things that we can choose from in this world. Don't do what you don't like. Well, except for paying your taxes.
That's right. We all got to do that. It's there.
Not good if you don't. No, but my point is that, just really and truly, I would love to. It's a piece of who I am. I would welcome any contact for sure. I want to keep growing.
Okay. Well, we'll have Patrick's contact info down below as always with a bunch of other information. But Patrick, we're just scratching the surface, not just of you as a man, but as this episode continues. So I want to shift gears. And this is actually the tricky part of the series and interview itself. It's the challenge question. So I ask, there's a prelude to the challenge possibly in there underneath.
Yeah. So here.
Yeah.
Do I like to wear hats? For sure, but I don't always wear hats. Yesterday I had a biopsy. I've dealt with some serious skin cancer issues in the past, and yesterday was supposed to be just a quick look at my back, and that turned into a few more things. And before I knew it, the day before our conversation, you know, they're doing a biopsy on my head. So, you know, we'll keep our fingers crossed and prayers in line that it's, you know, everything will be good. And even if it's not, I've been down this path before, and, you know, you can, I know I can do it. So.
Well, Patrick, you'll have good vibes out from everybody who's watching or listening. Please send Patrick love and support in that way. But Patrick, I know there's so many different perspectives that you had in your life and thought process. So again, with that question, I mean, is there a few things that you are comfortable sharing with everybody? And really that question is really to just spread some love out to everybody, because we're all dealing with struggles and challenges in the past, now, or in the future. But if there's something that you are comfortable sharing that you overcame, or that you're dealing with it, you learned from, became stronger because of it, what's that look like for you?
Wow. You know, I mentioned earlier when we were talking that people have, you know, some people have let's just say a simpler path.
Yeah.
I want to say it's easy or not, because I think a lot of what is hard or easy in life is perspective, right? I've had some challenges, you know, and that's, again, what part of what makes me me. And I can stay in that pain and that, you know, that place, that dark place, or I can move and share my light, you know, and the success, the solution, my experience, strength, and hope. You know, and that's what I choose to do. So what would I share? Gosh. Well, let's start with the thing on my head.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a couple of rounds of cancer, you know, and unfortunately it was caught early enough. And, you know, the woman that loves me, was giving me trouble and said, go to the doctor. So if you have any, go to the doctor if you need to go to the doctor. That was, you know, it led to a pretty invasive surgery. And then we went for follow-up, another invasive surgery on my back. And
Gosh,
that was something that rocked my world. You know, the first go around, I did not have the right perspective. You know, I was a poor me kind of a guy, a doom and gloom, very, very much outside of my character.
Yeah.
The entire process, challenging. And people in my life that wanted to love and support me, you know, they're like, who are you and why are you being this way? And, you know, then looking at it, you know, a year later, which is the second surgery, you know, I had I was in a healthier place in life, healthier mindset. And, you know, that exact same challenge, just on the back side of my body, was something that I took on in a positive way. Grateful heart that it wasn't anything more impactful. You know, so, you know, this will be fine, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, another challenge, I think, you know, we talked about the market and how I ended up becoming a real estate agent. You know, I had built what I thought was an amazing life, and, you know, on paper it was. You know, bought happiness, because that's what I thought you did, and you're very wrong. Married somebody that, you know, I thought was going to complete me, and this is not Jerry Maguire.
Right.
Like, you know, they don't complete you, they complement you. You know, and that's what I found. And so, you know, during that transition, I learned two really hard lessons, but, you know, the most beautiful things. Losing, you know, my $1 million house, you know, the cars that filled the driveway, a couple of investment properties, and 3 flips that I had going on at that point in time.
Wow.
Taught me that, you know, things aren't going to make me happy. Things don't make you happy. Things can add value to your life. Things can make you happier, but happiness is an inside out kind of job. You know, at least for this guy it is. And so I took it, you know, as, you know, at the time I'm like, why is this happening to me? And it wasn't just, of course, I could see it around the country and around the world, but, you know, people were just getting crushed.
Right.
But, you know, my perspective was something that I learned. So again, things don't make me happy.
Wow.
The other was that same time frame was, you know, the woman that I was married to, you know, I took one shot, and that's how I ended up in Florida, was rebuilding that family for, you know, for our family's sake.
Okay.
And unfortunately, she took off with one of our clients. She was my business partner, and she took off with one of our clients. And so, you know, I would wish no affair on anyone ever.
Right.
You know, but for me, again, outside of the pain, and I can live in the pain, or I can, you know, take the lesson and the benefits that came from it. And so the pain is gone. I've dealt with that. You know, the lessons that I learned in that particular deal was where my Jerry Maguire thing came from.
Right.
You know, nobody's going to complete me. You know, she couldn't make me happy at that point in time. Probably nobody could have made me happy, because I wasn't happy. You know, I had things that I needed to work on inside of me. You know, and as painful as that was, you know, and looking at what I thought was, you know, the end of the world because, you know, it was a broken family and didn't want to expose, you know, a child to that.
Sure.
You know, it was the best thing in the world. It led me to the man that I am now. And I understand how relationships, you know, not that I was numb or naive, but maybe I was naive, whatever, I'm misinformed,
Sure.
uninformed, ignorant on the whole idea. I learned that, you know, people are a beautiful gift. They're an asset to be treasured, you know, grateful. Some are here for you know, just a minute, you know, a little longer or a lifetime. You know, what do they say? A reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Oh yeah.
And so that particular person she was a season,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and a reason, you know,
Right.
I wouldn't have the, you know, the beautiful son that I do, you know, this incredible baby giant, as we'll call him,
Love it.
if it wasn't for, you know, without that, you know, and then moving forward, you know, personally and professionally, it's given me the ability to just be more of a whole man.
Hmm.
You know, so those are a couple of the challenges that I've worked through, you know, and as a byproduct, you know, I'm grateful for time. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I'm grateful for, you know, the smallest thing to the greatest thing. I can convey that to someone that's struggling, you know, whether it's, you know, an individual or a family. You know, sometimes we get people in real estate and it's not all rainbows and sunshine. You know,
No.
sometimes their story is changing too, whether it's divorce or health, death. You know, time catches up with us all.
Sure.
Life happens to us all. And so being able to be the man that I am on any given day is, I mean, we can talk about, you know, successes and a baby and man, congratulations, you know, on your marriage and life is amazing, or welcome to Colorado, or I'm sorry, you know, that things didn't work out. And you know, I can't believe that that's happened, but believe you me, you can and will get through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the loss of a parent, you know, to a loss of a child, you know, I mean, you know, those things that happen in each person's path of life. I have the ability, I think, to be very relatable. I have an authenticity because I've lived it, you know, and so again, we can stay in the pain, we can learn from the pain and succeed. And that's what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, a couple of the challenges that I've worked through, you know, it's perspective, man. And it's really actually given me the most beautiful gifts in the world, you know, believe you me, in the middle of it all, I was like, make it stop. I don't want to do this anymore. What did I do to deserve this? And, you know, there were just parts of my story, you know, that I can share with you, the audience, you know, my son, my clients, you know, what it looks like to never give up, you know. I mentioned that I was, you know, they quoted me in this deal, you know, nothing is impossible is what I say. And it's true. Actually, I take it on. I mean, when I was a young man, I was like, ha, until I tried.
Love that.
But nothing is impossible, and it's still until I try, but it's in a way that it's not cocky or conceited. It's just, it's not, you know, anything is possible. I am living proof of that. You know, I have overcome things that would take people to their knees. Thank God I have not had to go through some of the things that other people have, but, you know, that's where I learned to embrace, you know, other people, let them in, trust. I learned a lot about trust during this process, which was amazing for me. I have huge trust issues. And for me, the opportunity to learn how to have an equal relationship. You know, I mean, I was the guy that would give you the shirt off my back, and I still am, but I would never let anybody see me when I was in a bad place. And so now I've learned how to level out most of the time.
Right.
And, you know, really have equal balanced relationships with people. I let them see me most of the time, and not, you know, even on my worst day. And, you know, I allow them to love me and lift me up, kick me in the butt, hold me accountable, cheer me on, whatever it might be, you know, as a part of those challenges, my story.
Yeah.
Well,
and like you said, though, Patrick, I mean, all those things in basis, a lot of that would bring people to their knees and really have different perspective. And we all have the thoughts where, why me? Or shoot, can I handle this? This is really tricky situations. But the point is that the inspiration that you're sharing with everybody out there, hopefully everybody's picking this up, whether you're listening or watching. I mean, Patrick's been through a lot. And, you know, he still pushes forward. You still learn from these situations, and you're growing and you're becoming a better, stronger man because of it. And hopefully that gets somebody to say, it's okay. What you're going through right now is hopefully just temporary, and you're going to keep pushing forward, and you're going to be better and stronger. Because look, I mean, look at what you've done and look what you've accomplished in your life. You didn't let it stop you. You kept moving forward in that positive mindset with yourself and the people that are around you. And it's not easy to be vulnerable or to share these things, Patrick. So I know that personally. So I want to thank you. And I know the audience appreciates it too, because it's not easy to air your stuff out.
No, it's okay. And, you know, those are the things I think, you know, I share with some folks. You know, I mentioned earlier, I do some volunteer work. You know, I work with a charity called Secor here, Southeast Community Outreach. And so we help people with suburban poverty. And, you know, when the world rained down, you know, 13 years ago, I went from that rock star to just the rock.
Yeah.
But, you know, being able to be vulnerable, be human, you know, what I was getting at is somewhere along the lines, I picked up the saying, we're as sick as our secrets. And so don't have any secrets. You know, but you know, that's simple to say, but really the true piece is, yeah, it's okay. We all go through life, you know, and if we always look at how it looks, you know, I mean, God bless social media, because I mean, that's how we do our business. That's how I connect with my family, friends, and, you know, new people that I get to call, you know, friends and family.
Sure.
But, you know, we always see best days.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to lie to somebody as a doom and gloom poster, but, you know, most people share, you know, the 37th or 137th shot where they're like, I look good, you know, I look strong, or, you know, I mean, you know, look at my fancy car, my fancy house, and, you know, look at my beautiful life. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But, you know, there is a piece and point in time, and I don't think it always needs to be on social media. But, you know, where we say life is happening and I could use a little help. And it doesn't make us anything other than, you know, human. And being vulnerable is actually, you know, I was deathly afraid of it. I thought it made me weak, less of a man, less, you know, and people would judge me. But what I found is that, you know, when I was vulnerable, you know, people that were dying to help me or willing to help me, you know, I could see the true value of our relationships, and vulnerability turned out to be my biggest strength. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, I'm vulnerable now. You know, you know, I'm running around with a sliced up forehead. You know, it is what it is. You know, my hair is a little grayer than it was. You know, and it's you know, not as much as it used to be. All those things, but you know, I am who I am, and almost every single day I love that. You know, I mean, every once in a while I get my own way, and I have to remember to be kind to myself, offer myself grace. You know, I wouldn't speak to anyone the way that I've spoken to myself in the past. And so I have to remember that. So, you know, those things when you ask me, I guess that's another thing that I would offer is, you know, offer yourself some grace, you know, regardless of what's happened at this point in time today, you know, if you're killing it, crushing it, fantastic. You know, if you feel like there's something else you could do, or somebody else that might be able to help you, or you just want to change something, or even make amends, I don't even know what it is, or just, you know, change careers. Like I said, do what makes you happy, or put yourself to the next level, then do it. But, you know, realize that you are human. Be kind and loving to yourself, just like you would another person. I don't know why, this guy, I am harder on myself, you know, than I am anyone else in the world. Sure. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with holding myself accountable, pushing myself to the next level, but, you know, it shouldn't be at a place or a price that is detrimental to me as a man.
Yeah. And I think that when you mentioned that, though, Patrick, going back to you being a maverick and always have been and always will be, I mean, the mavericks, the trailblazers, the innovators, they always end up being the first through the wall, and they tend to get bloody for it, right? And they take the nicks and everything, but they're the ones who are really making things happen. In turn, on that double-edged coin, when it comes down to it, you're really looking at from the best of the best perspective. And being vulnerable and showcasing that truly makes you stronger. It humanizes the process, and it says that it is okay, and that we all deal with these things. But, you know, it's not that you're letting them defeat you. It is the ultimate thing, is being vulnerable and saying, woe is me, and asking for pity. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is, here's perspective. Here's a man who's been through some things, and he's learned from and grown from, and you can do the same thing too. And there's no excuses. You just said it beautifully. Through and through. So, I mean, again, anybody out there who's dealing with anything, Trust me when I tell you somebody's dealing with something worse and they've been through it, and just keep moving forward in a positive light. And anything is possible. Like you said, nothing is impossible, which I love that going through, Patrick. But I want to go on to a softer question. This is actually my particular favorite, if you're all right with that. So this one ends up being the travel back in time. So if you could travel back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice or two. Now, again, not necessarily changing something that you would have done, because everything you've been through, Patrick, it's made you who you are. And same thing with me and everybody else who's watching or listening. But if you could go back and give your younger self a piece of advice, any time frame, any age range, what would you say to your younger self?
Buy Amazon stock. No.
Okay, here you go. Hold on to Apple. Hold on to Apple stock. Get in early.
Wow. What would I tell myself? There's just so many things we've touched on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm in a place. I just celebrated a birthday, and so I think that for me, there's a time for reflection. Where I've been, where I'm at, and where I'm going.
Sure.
And so, what would I tell my younger self? Well, you don't have to do it alone. There's nothing wrong with, again, being a maverick. I mean, that's just my nature.
Yeah.
I was never meant to sit in an office under fluorescent lights. I'm not, just kill me now, please. I don't want to do it. People love it. I don't want to be an accountant. Please, you do it. I don't want to do it.
Right.
I would just go back to my younger self and just encourage, you don't have to do it alone. That it is okay, as we touched on, to be vulnerable. I thought, especially growing up without a father and with some of the challenges that came with all of those things during, that I had to be this unbelievably perfect man, right? What I saw on TV and movies and what my friends' dads looked like. And none of those guys, they didn't show that they were afraid, or sad. They didn't get, they didn't cry. They didn't do any of that stuff. So, I had built this machine of a person, me. I was brought up, it was about how I looked, not how it was. And it was just, it was a really different thing. So, I'd go back to my younger self. I'd just say, hey, man, just give yourself a break. It's okay. We're a real man. It has all those feelings because, you're a human being, right? It's one of the blessings that came from having a son is, I learned a lot about vulnerability and a lot about how to express love. And then I have a beautiful woman in my life who taught me even more. But what would I tell my younger self? Chase those dreams. Hey, man, what would have happened if I designed cars and motorcycles? I mean, heck, now it's all over TV. And, I became a realtor in the most, the worst market in our lifetime, But, it turned out to be another way for me to create my opportunity. And the product or the service that I provide, I mean, I've owned a tanning salon when I was young. Mortgage company, real estate, I've always had to control my destiny. I mean,
sure.
My mom, most of her heart, was a corporate, giant in her own right, but she sacrificed so much to get there. Time with me, time in general, she had huge accolades, but, it came at a price, and I swear I wouldn't pay those same prices. So, and that's just the way it is. So chase your dreams as a young man, be all that you are, honestly,
Right.
authentically, and then you just enjoy the ride, giving yourself a break. I was so I had to get to this to be okay, or that to be okay, or if I just did this, got that award, had that house, or whatever it is, there'd be something that would make me feel okay. And as I mentioned to you, it took me a long while to realize that the happiness was an inside out kind of job. So past in the past, take the lessons, the good, the gift from it all, and just stay out of the negativity, the pain,
Right.
So, the young me, is my son. So the young me, taller, stronger, better hair, more handsome, smarter, calmer, all kinds of stuff. He's my chance to create that conversation with the younger me.
Okay.
Not just him, but the people that I get to work with. So I love that question because, we cannot go back in time.
Right.
We can't. And so when, good, bad, or indifferent, I get to have those conversations with a younger version of myself all the time.
Yeah.
In the industry, a couple of nights ago at the Nuggets game, my son before this, when I'm volunteering, I help out, some of the other men's groups that I'm a part of. Those are my chances to have a conversation with a younger version of myself.
Yeah. And truly giving back to other people that are in your life that understand and will take the perspective in, which is huge though, Patrick. But you look at it from that standpoint, all that advice is again, not just for your younger self, but everybody that you had just mentioned and then some, and everybody's watching or listening to this. That's why I always say this is my favorite question, because we can apply this information and knowledge today, right? Give ourselves a break, don't be too hard on ourselves, follow your dreams, really go through all those things. We can do that now. We can influence our lives now. And it truly is never too late. I know that there's so many people that are out there that says, oh, I'm too old, or it's past this time, or, you know, I can't, you're putting all these expectations on yourself. I mean, there's so many different professionals that started later in their life. I mean, as an actor, Morgan Freeman, I think he was in his 40s, like mid to late 40s, and he got his first role. And look at Morgan Freeman. I mean, he's an amazing actor. I mean, it's never too late, right? I mean, so I'm hoping that there's going to be some cars being designed at some point, because I'd be one of the first in line, my friend, because you know, your taste is impeccable.
Well, I've done a couple actually. So I've had the fortunate nature. I've been blessed in time to dabble a little bit. I did a couple of times Broncos, and that was fun. You know, and it was you know, I would love it, and maybe in my next thing, because you know, maybe I'll be a Morgan Freeman of cars. You know, maybe you know, I'll go back and I'll teach art. You know, I mean, I think that we just embrace each day, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm learning how to play the guitar. You know, I mean,
awesome.
You know, I have this ongoing bet that I'll sing. You know, so we just don't know. But you know, when we start looking at what we don't have, or counting the days down, and we're missing really being present.
Wow.
You know, the present is really where we are. I mean, you know, again, learn from the past, don't live in it. You know, look for the future and work towards it, but don't, you know, right here, right now, right? And so, you know, I don't know, man. I get conversations from the younger version of myself that enlighten me. You know, it's so cool. I mean, you know, I look into your world, and you know, I know that you've just changed some things recently. You know, and I love that, and I applaud it. And I'm like, you go. You know, I mean, you could have stayed in that safe, tight box and been like, man, I am crushing it. I'm here. You know, instead of being the big fish in the little pond, man, you opened it up. You know, and now you're taking yourself and Titans into the world. You know, and I love that. You know, and so
Thank you, Patrick.
You know, where are we going? I don't know, man. I can't wait to see, and I love being a part of it. But yes, enjoy the ride. It's never too late. Come on. And if you don't like what you're doing, do something different.
Yeah.
Addition to it, you know. I mean, we get one shot, you know. We get one shot, you know, to just get it all, and just get it all.
Yeah.
You know? Love it, you know. And if you screwed it up or something bad happened, hey man, you know, this too shall pass. You know, and you can go through something, you know, miserable, you know, as a victim, you know, it's the end of the world, you know, why me? Or you can go through something with the idea that, you know, what's on the other side, you know, it's not going to take me down. It's not going to take me out. Right. You know, that impossible nature, you know, it's the end of the run. Says who? Says who?
Right.
Says who? The people that, you know, are afraid, the people that couldn't do it themselves, you know, that haven't faced it, you know. I mean, you put people on the moon. We're having a conversation, you know, over the internet.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, you know, there are so many things that were impossible, right? I mean, I have a great friend of mine who just had, you know, brain surgery not long ago. And, you know, how long ago would we say that, you know, she was just done, you know, and she is not. She's a walking, talking miracle, and I love it, you know. And so, says who?
Yeah.
Says who?
Who are they anyway, Patrick? I mean, it's really bringing up that awesome thought processes, you know, and I think you and I might have had this in a conversation, you know, prior to going live here, or just other conversations that we had, but it's one of those things where everything's impossible until someone does it, right? I mean, it's true. If you look at anything, it's always impossible until it's done. And, you know, I was recently just nerding out and, you know, going on the car vein, that sort of thing, Ford versus Ferrari, and Matt Damon and Christian Bale, and just the portrayal of what was happening with that. And, you know, Ferrari was dominant. It was just all over it. And it wasn't happening in Le Mans besides Ferrari. And you know what, through the notions of what happened with Ford, and they said, you know what, we're going to do this. And they tried, failed, they tried, and they're really, really going and pushing at it. But that was impossible at that time frame. Ford really being in racing and then beating Ferrari, but look what happened. So, I mean, I just think that's a beautiful mentality and thought process for everybody to take away these nuggets, these pearls of wisdom. I'm telling everybody, this man is amazing. But Patrick, I want to dive a little bit deeper onto the education phase. And this is actually a really good one for everybody out there because everybody's looking to feed their minds the way that the Titans do, right? So I lead into it in a number of different ways with books you're reading or read, podcasts you're listening to, influencers, coaches, anything that you're really feeding your mind. How are you doing that?
Wow. A student of the game of life, really. So, what I choose to do for a living, that is a huge piece of my focus, but, honestly, not my entire focus. So what, I guess, as you were talking, a couple of things that pop into mind. Brene Brown, I've read her book a couple of times, The Gifts of Imperfection, and that allowed me, it gave me a ton of insight and allowed me to just be me in a better way. So absolutely love that, love who she is. I just like that, that struck home for me. If you haven't seen any of her work or a TED Talk, check it out. If nothing else, you'll laugh. Hilarious. You Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins, certainly overcoming, some horrific things in his past, proving the impossible is possible.
Sure.
I think that has got to be, if anything, when my days are done on this earth, I certainly want that on my headstone. Actually, I'm not going to be buried. I'm going to be cremated, but maybe we'll just have that, that anything is possible mentality, because it really is until it's done, or until we do it ourselves. So, the couple of those books, as far as industry stuff, there's just so many, and I've really been blessed with. I love the former Titans that have come through. I see them and I follow them. We've got local stars and we've got them across the country, and each, whether it's everything that their mindset is, or just their golden nugget that I take to heart and I'm trying to apply in my walk. So there's a couple. A couple of groups I belong to here. Denver Gents. The gentleman within that fantastic organization. Gives me an opportunity to give back, but also grow, win-win. The Brotherhood of Men is another, that's just men wanting to be the most authentic versions of themselves, held accountable as we level up. And, doctors, attorneys, chefs, personal trainers, all kinds of different people, 20 years old to 70.
Wow.
So those are some of my things. The nature of our beast, I'm online a lot. So I follow a lot of different individuals, some true Titans in real estate for sure. Some people that inspire me personally, but it comes from everywhere, to be quite honest.
Love it.
I'll take something from a Mike Ferry kind of a deal, or one of our Titan things. I'll say ours, I'm a little part of it, so now I'll be a Titan as well.
Yes, sir.
Down to a mom with a daughter who's struggling with unbelievable challenges, and the way that she can look at her the perspective of the world with a grateful heart, hope, optimism, and a fire, like a fight that I'm seeing my days, because days are hard sometimes. They just are,
Right.
Yesterday wasn't my favorite day, knowing that they're like, you don't like this thing on your head, we're gonna cut it open. And for a minute there I was like, this fear, but then I put it in perspective, then I'm inspired. There's somebody, so where do I gain my knowledge? God, all over the place. I countless sites, that I have fed to my phone every day.
Yeah.
This thing is annoying as it can be. Lifeline to some things that I need. So I can't just nail down one specific deal. What I would say is, if somebody wants to know who I watch, what I do, and what inspires me, reach out. Follow me. Take a peek at what I take a peek at. I won't pepper you with garbage, because I don't believe that I'm a garbage man.
No.
It's just about what strikes. And sometimes it's, what's the latest vibe in our town? What's going on in Denver or Colorado? Or where do I think is going to be the next place to invest? And, a few years ago, I was asked that very question before they started the top 10 list. And, I'm like, Austin, Nashville. If I could go back in time and make the money that I could have made here when I was living in Florida, where would I invest next? And, you know, those were a couple of markets that I picked. And, you know, not that I have some psychic power. I just looked at, you know, how it laid itself out, life and lifestyle, and those things came to fruition. You know, and so that was just from, you know, pulling data from different trends. And again, part of my business is investor based, and I need to predict the future the best I possibly can from looking at the past for my clients and myself. You know, everything is cyclical in this business. I've been around long enough to see bad days, good days. I know that there's money to be made in any market, but my job is to prepare whomever I'm working with for what's coming next. You know, I mean, if he wants to invest in properties, down market's fantastic. So is an up market. But, you know, if I've got somebody trying to buy their first place, you know, and I know I can hinge them and get them into a place, you know, in an upcoming neighborhood where 5 years from now, they're going to, even less, you know, high five me that we just, you know, crushed it, and they can take that equity and grow either into a, you know, a true dream home, or spread it out and diversify into multiple homes, whatever they're doing. And that's part of my job is, you know, and my passion in life is just to see people win.
Wow.
So it's an interesting, you know, it really is.
Yeah, I love that though, Patrick, all the way through, because you're really a student of the industry and of the mind, and pulling it from so many different sources, whether it's physical books or videos or conversations that you're having, or really just diving deep into your craft, right? And there's so much knowledge and learning. But the true pros, and quite frankly, every Titan that's been featured on this series so far, they're just constantly learning. They're constantly growing. There's no right or wrong way to do it as long as you do it.
Like I said way earlier on when we were talking, you know, the day that I think I'm the smartest man in the room, you know, we have a problem.
Right.
You know, if I'm by myself, maybe, but that still would worry me. It is ever growing, ever changing experience of life for me, you know, and so and I'm just receptive to it. You know, I mean, I search, I identify with what I want, you know, I don't really like to get caught up in the doom and gloom. You know, I also don't live in a fairy tale, but, you know, it's like feeding my body. Just, you know, it's this exact same thing. I can eat junk, you know, my body will reflect that. I mean, if I eat poorly or don't eat, you know, I mean, then I, of course, don't run as well, don't look as good, you know, and I'm not going to last as long, you know, and, you know, if I take that same kind of mentality when I'm, you know, feeding my mind with, you know, whether it's industry, you know, pros, people, you know, that I admire, or, you know, personal, you know, heroes, I'm going to feed my mind healthy. You know, I'm going to operate better. I'm going to have a better outlook, a stronger impact. And, you know, definitely when it's all said and done, you know, my life experience will be, you know, beautiful. And I hope that I can touch some lives. And I know I have, but I continue to, you know, my why, want to touch some more. You know, Maya Angelou is somebody that I really dig, you know, who she is. She inspires me tremendously. She's got a quote that I latched onto years ago, and I hold on to it. You know, people might forget, I'm going to paraphrase, but people might forget what you do or what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And so that to me just went, you know, lightning bolt right to my heart, my soul, my core. And just because it made sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it did. You know, I mean, we are in an industry where there are countless realtors and mortgage brokers and, you know, builders and developers and, you know, title people and all kinds of stuff. But, you know, we get an opportunity to deal with folks if we choose to, that, you know, when we choose to, you know, that are like-minded, authentic, genuine, you know. And so when we're going through these experiences, you know, did you sell a $2 million house or a $300,000 house? You know, it's beautiful to get paid on that one, but this person still deserves a home. And believe me, I'll do anything in between, because I believe everybody does deserve a piece of the American dream. But the point is, you know, it isn't so much about what I did or what I said. It really is how I made somebody feel. Did I take them home? You know, did I transform the worst house on the block that people used to walk by? And believe you me, that's part of what my days look like. You know, I dialed in, suit, the whole 9 yards, the coat in the car, climbing on the roof, through the attic, in the, you know, cellar of a place that most people wouldn't go through in a hazmat suit.
Wow.
Take it, and I have this wonderful gift, you know, that I just latch onto, because, you know, I can't be everything to everybody, but I can be good, really good at what I am. And so, you know, we take this property and, you know, transform it. And so, you know, again, when it's all said and done, you know, not what I said, not really what we did, you know, but in the end, how, you know, we changed something, you know,
Right.
somebody had given up on this property, this home, you know, this house, let's just call it that, a structure.
Yeah.
And we turned it into a home, you know, and we made it as good, if not better than it ever was before. And I love that professionally. And I love to do that personally. You know, I'm proof of that personally, you know, and professionally. So, you know, it's just such an amazing journey.
I love the fact that you're sharing so much of this journey with everybody, and me again. The greatness that I get to experience throughout this series, and meeting so many amazing people, and you're no exception to that rule, Patrick. I mean, it's just been chock full of absolutely incredible information and takeaways. Dynamically thinking about how true professionals work and live their lives, and there's just so much out there. So again, hopefully everybody really appreciates this, but I want to wrap everything up with a final question. Now, you've thrown out a lot of amazing wise words from so many different people. So we can kind of go into this as well, but if there was a quote or a mantra that sums you up as a man, as a professional, what's that look like for you, Patrick?
Yeah, I guess, you know, I was reading ahead on your script. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I really just, I think, you know, as we were sharing, and it's just, it's definitely, and I'm not saying it for any other reason than it is genuine. I mean, it is such an honor. I am humbled, truly humbled to be a part of this experience with you, you know, and the people that have come before me, you know, a year ago and believed it was possible, all those things. I just wouldn't have. So as far as quotes, Martin Luther King, I love Martin Luther King as well. You know, a lot of it's about faith. You know, he's got a quote about, you know, you don't see the whole staircase, you just take the step, right? And so I've had to do that multiple times. You know, I couldn't see the whole staircase. I couldn't see the end of where I was going. I just had to have enough faith, you know, faith over fear, to take my first step, right? And then another, and then another, and another. You know, we touched on the Maya Angelou thing, which is, you know, huge for me, you know, about how people feel, how you make them feel. And then I think, you know, mine, you know, that I live with, and the one that just lives inside of my core, that will not allow me to stay down, defeated, beaten, broken, negative. And don't get me wrong, as you've already heard, you know, I mean, that happens to me because I'm a human being.
Right.
And I sell real estate. So sometimes it's not as either brand new or lying. It can be a challenge, but it's, you know, the most rewarding challenge. I would say my mantra is, you know, like I mentioned it before, nothing is impossible. I am living proof that is true. Nothing is possible.
I love that, Patrick. And again, the words just really just speak to everybody out there, whether you're watching or listening. And hopefully you feel the passion that's coming out of this man, because it's just absolutely incredible. And it has been an absolute honor on my part, Patrick, just to have you on here. And you are an official real estate titan, my friend. So thank you so much. Really, really absolutely honor. Yeah. And so for everybody out there, though, again, we're going to have all of Patrick's information listed down below, you know, different links as far as charity groups, organizations, thought processes, books, and the whole nine, and really just dive into this man, follow him on social media and all the different sites that are going on. Out to everybody out there, as always, thank you so much for your love and support, your time and attention. If you like what we're doing here at Real Estate Titans, please don't forget to like our Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and have a listen on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcast. Live every Tuesday and Friday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. We'll catch everybody in the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care. Thanks, Patrick.